Hi there, I'm Johannes Keating. I want to talk about my hot take interpretation of ISTDP, thumbnail sketch. From the very first moment of asking the patient what brings them in for therapy, to the moments downstream when the patient is in the middle of an unlocking and describing the blood and the guts of a murder scene and then has the outpouring of guilt and grief, connection and clarity is the constant thread that runs throughout. By that I mean that the therapist can picture in vivid detail and vicariously experience everything that the patient is talking about, and vice versa. When the patient is open and undefended, and when the therapist is continuously staying in lockstep with the patient, always ensuring that there is a shared understanding of what the patient is experiencing, and then bringing that into bold relief, there's kind of like a shared dream experience that takes place. It's like the therapist and the patient are in the same dream at the same time. This is emotional closeness. It's the therapist's laser-like attention and real interest in understanding the inner being of the patient that I believe really mobilizes the unconscious of the patient, brings their core conflicts out into the open, and gives the patient a shot at working through the most conflicted and knotted up parts of their own hearts and minds. So, in terms of this shared dream, this picture, when it goes cloudy or when it falls apart, we need to diagnose the cause. Typically, it's resistance that's the main culprit. That could be the patient's, or it could be ours, or some combination of the two. But resistance, the way I am speaking about it right now, is antithetical to clarity and connection. Resistance is the force of avoidance. But it's not always resistance. Sometimes the patient simply needs to explain what they're saying differently, and things come together again and the dream resumes. Sometimes the patient's anxiety is too high, and once it's back in a more tolerable range, then things are off and running again and the dream has resumed. Sometimes you're looking at a standalone defense mechanism not rooted in a major resistance, and then once you flick that away and deal with that, you're off and running again and the dream has resumed. If you're dealing with a major resistance, meaning a major energetic investment in defending defenses and defending the strategy of avoidance, then clarity and connection is cut off entirely and things come to a halt, and then you have to deal with that. But all phases of the central dynamic sequence ought to enhance the clarity and the connection. That includes pressures, challenges, head-on collisions, and if they don't, you're either on the wrong station or you're not sufficiently tailoring the interventions to where the patient is. So in short, the shared dream experience as a barometer for how open or defended the patient is, and us too, by the way, is both a really important tool of assessment and it's a critical ingredient in the healing process itself. So experiential clarity and connection is the lifeblood of ISTDP.